Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome with Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
What it is, what I say is brought to you by Dispose. This is a garbage company that's going to do great things for you at the time of need. Right now we got coronavirus going around. So what I try to do is a special. It's a special on a 25-yarder. If you see some of the things I did on Facebook, I tried to give you a dimensions of a 25-yarder. It's a smaller container that can be delivered to your home, and the cost of it is $300. I was waiving off the $50 delivery fee. If you need a bigger container, because again, an apartment complex or something in construction, I was doing $400. Now, this again is only in the Cobb County in Atlanta because of distance. I can't go all over the place, but it's one of the things I wanted to make sure I do, because a lot of people want to clean up and a lot of people are home, and I'm trying to do some things where I can keep y'all moving, for we can keep this economy flowing. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, again, just give us a call. The number is 770-462-8984. And again, I don't always call it, but again, you can call it, you can get me, or you can call me on my personal number, 770-286-7526. And again, I am the one that's going to try to make sure I make your customer service needs.
Okay.
Now, I got to get back to the person that's been rocking with me since I started this. We're going on 4 years come September 17th. Past this corona scare. Graph-matic, how you doing, big baby?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just got a lot on my mind right now, man. Yeah, I don't have any down days, and I don't encourage anybody to have down days. Just because you are at home right now don't mean you have to lounge. We need to be doing research. We need to be cleaning our homes. We need to be making plans. I've got some advice for people for the near future.
Okay.
And I won't share it right now. Let's get through our introduction. But I got some real important ideas that I need to share, because the world is changing quite rapidly right before our eyes. And in a matter of 30 to 60 days, it could look very, very different than we've ever seen before.
Okay.
Most people have never seen a tank up close.
They might,
But you just might see one down at your neighborhood grocery store parking lot. And so we just need to prepare the world for what is to come, Jay. And I'm kind of fired up about it, meaning I'm not going to let this struggle, challenge my spirit.
Okay.
But there's a lot of great work to be done, man. I'm just fired up about it,
Man, I like the fact that you stay fired up, man. You keep this glow, man. This is a time where a lot of people are depressed, they scared. And you come in with this same cheerful attitude. You don't know how much it's a blessing to be around a person like you. Because I be coming in with an attitude, I be on one, And getting around you helped me realize you don't have to be like that.
You don't have to be like that.
You choose to be.
Absolutely.
So if you want greatness, go for greatness. Quit playing around with you.
There you go.
Understand you and understand that we all go through things. We ain't gonna always have our best days. But it's great to be around the right people that can push you back to a better person.
That is a great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay, and my name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we are simply here to liberate your mind and your lives with inspirational dialogue. We sit here and have a great conversation about real life, today's times, and just give our opinions, our interests, our understandings, our experiences, and hopefully you can align with some of this great wisdom that's coming out here. We don't prepare this show. This is truly a live show. Totally. And what we talk about is just really, really good stuff that's just coming off the top of our heads. So we hope you enjoy this show. We thank you so much for being here with us tonight. This is our opportunity to kind of live out our purpose and vision, because we believe these dialogues do so much good to people and so much good in the world that we're doing our purpose and our passion.
That's true.
Yeah, so once again, thank you. We always start the show off with a prayer. And didn't know, Jay, if you want to take out a prayer.
Man, I need you to deliver them, Kraft.
Yeah?
Right now, they need one deeply. We got a lot going on. I'm going to let you even choose how you want to bring this one, because if this one, I don't think it's not a choice. It's just a fact that he need us to understand him. Because at this time, a lot of people are depending on other people, and I really think we need to turn to him. So let him flow.
That's some focus.
That's a great way. I think Jay hit it. I like that. You said focus?
Yeah.
Okay, I like focus. And maybe the whole idea here is to see, I think part of my mission and part of my purpose, I've been doing a lot of writing, and I'm really capturing the breadth of how to deliver messages. to the world. And one of the things that I'm charged with doing is helping people to set the mindset, right? That, right now people are sitting in their living rooms full of fear and full of worry and full of, hardship in their spirits right now. There's a lot of things uncontested. Some people don't know where the next meal's coming from. Some people don't know when they're going back to work, when they're getting the next check. I mean, there's a lot of duress going on among people right now. Right. And you gotta excuse me because I get real emotional about it.
You should.
And I'm very moved by this whole thing. And I saw another athlete this week talk. No, actually, he was a military police officer, and he was talking about what is to come, and that people just aren't going to be able to handle some of what is about to happen. And the Lord has allowed me to be on the inside a little bit, so I understand a few things that's going on. But my job is to set the mindset. So if you are centered in fear and worry and doubt, if I can take you to a place where there is hope, my hope is that you will hang on to that and be able to let that be the hope that drives you tomorrow. You see what I mean? Because you need hope for tomorrow. You need the strength to get up and the confidence in the Lord to get up and just go to the grocery store tomorrow. And that's a different place that we're in now. So let me set the mindset. I'm going to do it easily. I think there's only one word that really sets it all in place for me. Heavenly Father, we come under you and under your presence in every area of our lives right now. We give you our lives. We allow you to save us, and we allow ourselves to be saved by your presence in our lives. Yes. We are not going to worry about the things of this world and the circumstances of this world. We're not going to worry about the lies and the stories and the media and the people and all of the upset and the sickness and challenge and the dying and the pain that's going on, Lord. We ask that you would take this from us right now in the name of Jesus. Remove it from our path and let us be filled with the whole spirit of being saved. We are saved from our enemies. We are saved from our troubles. We are saved from our financial problems. We are saved from pains. We are saved from people controlling us who should not be controlling us. We are saved from the enemy. We accept being saved right now. And I allow that word to go forth. And I thank you, Lord, for being here with us tonight. Teach us what that word means. Teach every person under the sound of my voice what the word saved mean, and let them walk in the light all day, every day for the rest of their lives. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh my God.
Amen. Amen.
Ooh, man. You was in there.
He is there, boy. He is.
Yeah, you, boy. He just spoke all through you.
Man, listen, we gotta take our mind off of the world now. That's what we're charged to do. Because the world can oftentimes mislead us. There's so many lies, man. You don't know what to believe, right?
Yes.
There's so many stories and lies, and we don't even know where to go. So all of this over here in the world is false to me. But everything in God and in Christ is truth. So I'm going to lean on that truth, right? I'm going to believe that nothing will touch me. Right? That nothing's going to harm me. I'm going to take action, necessary action in the world. Right. I'm going to wear gloves and masks, and I'm going to stay in when they tell me to stay in, and I'm going to do all of these things. But even beyond that, I know that God is going to protect me. And I have to know that any time I hear bad news that want to upset me, I'm saved. I'm saved. I'm saved. I'm saved. I'm saved. It can't come in the door because I'm protected by the Word of God. The Word of God is in my spirit. It's in my mouth. And when I speak it, it becomes my whole reality. I am already saved. You know what I'm saying? So, man, what a powerful word tonight, man. I've been so deep in prayer over the last couple of weeks with all this stuff going on. I spend so much time alone, so, I spend most of that time with the Lord, Okay. And we just got to keep people's mindset right. Right? The devil's after your mindset. He wants you to believe that there is no hope. He wants you to believe that the world is ending, etc., etc., and it is not, So let's go ahead and open up the doorway for the dialogue for tonight's show.
Okay.
Jay and I once again decided to come together and do another show before the laws changed and would not allow us to gather. And when I asked Jay what he was thinking about, he said, well, let's talk about the whole idea of being quarantined.
Yes, I am.
And since it is almost universal right now, every planet, I mean, not every planet,
Yeah.
right? Maybe every planet,
Hey,
but
right
for
now, you never know.
certain, every country, every continent, every city, every state is under a certain level of quarantine.
Okay.
We are all asked to stay at home. We are not to interact with one another in any way. And that brings a very interesting dynamic to the home front.
Yes.
That brings a very interesting dynamic to a relationship. And we spend a lot of time, as you folks know, talking about relationships. Now, I want to introduce one idea, and I don't know where it's
I got
gonna
several.
take us,
I got
right?
several. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Which one you got?
See, this could be a curse. This could be a blessing disguised as a curse.
I have no idea, but give it to me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you got a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you live with them. Perhaps in this scenario, if you didn't live together, you probably couldn't be together right now under the quarantine circumstance, right?
Okay.
But you live together, or you're engaged, or you're married, you're in a relationship. Imagine that once you get married, the judge sends you home and locks the front doors. And you cannot get out. You have to live with that person for a solid year. No ifs, ands, and buts. In that space, if it's a 1,200 square foot place, or if it's a 12,000 square foot place, you are challenged to live in that space together for one solid year. That is almost like what is happening in the world of being quarantined right now, right? If we didn't have this stay-at-home platform going on in the world right now, most of these families wouldn't see each other very much during the week.
Right. Everybody work.
Everybody's working and going, and they got to go to practice. They got a business meeting, the PTA, whatever is happening. A lot going on. They rarely would see each other. So they go from seeing each other to 2-3 hours a day to now 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, Jay, now that I done set it up, what's going on in your mind about that
We got a
scenario?
problem.
You think that's a problem?
It could be a problem. I'm going to tell you why it could be a problem.
Why?
It's all on how you set your mind up. If I'm marrying, and I understand this is the person I'm going to be with, and I'm looking at this dynamic as being together forever,
Okay.
then that would never be an issue. You putting me with a person that's what I'm choosing to put a ring on. So I'm already in my mindset of spending as much quality time as possible. So locking me in with it is just helping me. Now, how we going to survive off that lock-in and how we going to be able to get groceries in and out, that's another question. But just to be locked in with a person that I choose to spend the rest of my life with is not a curse to me. Now,
Right.
That's
it shouldn't be.
Right. That's in a regular world. And let's just talk about when we ain't getting along. And I have that freedom to go where I want to go and do what I want to do. And then you turn around and lock me in. Well, now it's a little different because how we was getting along now was space away.
Yeah, space helps.
And that caused us to get along better. Now we don't have that space. So can you conform?
Right, you don't really have an opportunity to miss them.
You stuck with them
They're
24/7.
always in your face.
I'm just coming in the bathroom when you're in the bathroom. Who does that? You know?
Yeah.
All right.
And why you
Coronavirus.
And why you can't get in the bathroom 15, 20 minutes before you go in there? Why you always want to go in there right after I come out of there?
Coronavirus. This stuff is real. Some places you need to stay back.
You know what? We checked the toilet paper line, but we didn't check the air freshener line.
What? I did. I don't know what come out you, but I know what I did afterwards. Oh, Lord.
It might be empty on the air fresheners
Nah,
too. I'm
bruh.
sure they ain't got the
Man, I got matches and everything. What y'all know about new matches? Well, you better strike one.
matches work.
What?
Talking about
Man.
we talking about being quarantined. That's
Exactly.
Good. Matches do work, folks. You might smell something, smell like it was burning in the middle of the night. No, your husband
Hey.
just went to the bathroom.
You just don't understand. 'Cause one time I blew it up, and I about to blow the whole bathroom. How about
You
that?
ain't supposed to start a fire.
Yeah, man, you just don't understand the gas. Had a gas leak.
You're supposed to strike the match. Once it becomes fully flamed, you blow it out, and the white smoke is what clears the air.
Once it struck, it got bigger than we need. Hold on. I said gas.
Wow.
Just saying.
Excuse me.
Was that carbon dioxide detector went off? Some things was going on.
You set it off the fire.
I'm just trying to tell you, there's some things going on.
Well, you,
Man, hey,
what you mean he?
Mexican restaurant. Jalapenos got to be.
Like Fred, some 8-day-old collard greens.
Man, there was some
somewhere.
real bad things.
But so listen, here's the point that being together, forced to be together. Okay, you're forced. You're not just together, but now you're forced to be together. That means all day, every day. A lot of things can change. You really get an opportunity to see your mate very differently than you see them on a normal basis. You get to see if they really are lazy. You get to see if they really are on point. You get to see if they talk too much or if they pushy. You get to see if they're helpful or wanting to do extra special things. There's some real interesting dynamics that has to come forth when you are stuck with your spouse, you know? And I can imagine something as simple as the husband is always home. Soon as the garbage gets done, he takes it out. And she like, oh, damn, he really cares. Like, he's on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he done pulled it out the night before, put it to the side. If we got anything in there, the next morning he take it out. But she's never been able to see you in that regard.
Right. You never realized.
Life has just been what it has. You know, you usually gone or out to a meeting when it gets full, so she takes it, puts it up, and put it in the garbage. She does her thing. But now she gets to see you. You might get to see that, you know, wow, she will get up at 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning to fix us breakfast when nobody cares about eating breakfast. You know? That makes a difference.
It does.
When you can see those kinds of things coming from your mate, man, that those are game changers.
It is.
You know, on the positive and the negative side.
Yeah, but that adds great value because, again, sometimes you don't see all this. And a lot of times you might
Right.
be going to work early where she did it for the kids. Now everybody's there. And that's another thing.
Right.
You, with your dynamics is kids there. Because I got that coming up in the topic,
Yeah.
too, because I'm wondering how y'all parents doing quarantine with the children.
Yeah.
Okay, we talking about relationship.
Yeah.
It's a relationship with them kids, too.
Yeah,
I'm
listen.
gonna do some burning tonight.
They
I'm
know
just trying to figure out what y'all doing with them children.
They normally leave home in the morning too.
you know why now?
You see?
The kids so dang on bad.
Yeah, listen, it is. It's just about time for us to take our first break.
Okay.
We are right on time tonight, and you know, got a few tracks here that I hope you'll enjoy.
What you got
Y'all
here?
stay tuned. We're gonna be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay. Since we're talking tonight about quarantine, obviously the quarantine is an effect of the cause. And of course, the cause is a virus going on in the world. That virus has been called the coronavirus, and it has made its stance in every country in the world. Every community in the world today is under quarantine behind the coronavirus. And I've got some very unique beliefs about this whole thing based on my research and some data that I found and some statistics. And it also goes into understanding the relationships that were part of the cause of this whole thing. And you know, I won't necessarily. I need Phil here. He loves to combat.
He coming. Him be a little later. Give him a little later.
Yeah, he
That
loves
Buddha gonna be here a little later.
He loved to combat my conspiracy theories a little bit, and I opened him wide open last week.
Yeah, we
And,
know this.
I can't wait till he gets here because he also began to buy into some of the stuff that I was talking about, and so there's just so much going on right now, man. We really don't even oftentimes know where to turn. You know, we talked in the first session about turning to God. But, you know, we have no choice but to face this world. And that means that, you know, we have to begin to accept some of the realities that are happening right now. You know, we're talking about quarantine tonight, but there are many realities that are changing. And I mentioned earlier that I wanted to just share a couple of ideas about how to prepare yourself for this whole thing. And I'll just go ahead and share one of them right now. And I would encourage every person, and make sure you call your friends and family and everyone else and let them know as well. Everyone needs to round up all of your important documents. I need you to go on your websites to your bank accounts, and I need you to take pictures and screenshots of those accounts. You need to know exactly where you stand as this new money system, this new potential world order begins to take place. You need to pull out all your stocks and your bonds and all your, your accounts for your investments, and you need to make sure that you have proof that you own these cars, that you own this land, that you own this property. You need to have all of that in one place, just in case you might have to leave quickly. One of the great gifts of this entire situation, the great blessings, is that we've been able to endure it with our power on. We got lights,
Right.
And we got gas, and we got water, and we got food, and we have houses, and we have habitats to go to. We have a place to go. But in light of many of the theories that are going on in the world, conspiracy theories we might call it, they are suggesting that much of this may be some type of chemical or biological warfare.
Okay.
And that means that anything could happen at any time. Your lights could go out, your water could be contaminated, we just don't know. We just don't know. I picture of sometimes the worst of the worst, and that is, the light in the room will somehow cause this biological warfare to eat away our skin or some silly shit. They got really so much technology going on, we don't know. But I'm encouraging you to gather all of your things, really treat the situation like a state of emergency. In a state of emergency, you are prepared for almost anything. It's okay to round up cash flow, go to your banks, pull out some cash, consolidate some accounts. The stock market, they continue to tell you that it's doing great, but I just don't understand who's pouring in right now. How can it be so great under such circumstances? We know that in a recession, people run from the stock market. So how can you tell me it's thriving right now? Part of our conspiracy. We don't know what's true. We don't know what's not true. So gather your documents, prepare to prove to anyone on the other side of this situation that these things belong to you, because our entire world is now under the auspice of being controlled by the internet. What happens if you can no longer contact your bank? What happens if you no longer have your computer to look through to show them, that you got ownership of a how much you have in an account or what you had or whatever? We just don't know what's going to happen. So prepare yourself with a real intense and serious look at your affairs. Bring it all together. Put it in one box, one bag, one suitcase, and at least know where it is. Hopefully, we'll never have to use it. Hopefully, it'll mean no more than we were just organized. But in the event it means something different, you can carry your entire future out the door with you in 30 minutes.
I totally agree with that.
Makes
Because again,
sense.
we don't know what's going on.
We don't
Because again, with the scare, it seemed like everybody ran to the stores and bought up everything they could in the stores. And one of the things behind that one, just giving a small conspiracy, people don't realize this is going on longer than was anticipated. It was giving out 2-week increments. So they bought food for 2 weeks. Now, the only bad thing is they thought it would be over with 2 weeks. So naturally, you eat most of the stuff that you load up, because you didn't think about long term. So for the ones like myself that was grabbing stuff, putting it in the deep freeze, because I'm thinking long term. I'm getting long term canned goods, things that I already know this might not be what they're telling me. I'm trying to buy for long term, not short term. And that way, when I start doing things, I just don't eat all the time, okay? Just like when your kids are sitting there home, if they see all the food, I promise you, they're going to eat up everything. They're having fun. They're away from their normal. You have to stay on a normal regimen. If you eat a breakfast, you do a small breakfast, you do a lunch, and you do a dinner. But if you let multiple people be in your house, they're going to be cooking all the time because they see the food. That's just natural, okay? That's not preserving. That's just doing the normal, okay? And this ain't a normal time. So guess what's gonna happen? Within less than 2 weeks, you'll be back at that store. But you binged the first time. You spent a lot of money, and you're gonna be spending a lot more. And it's not stopping, but your income gonna probably be less. Remember, when you ran out the first time, you was working. Now you might be working from home, and now some jobs are ending because this is lasting too long. So now, if you don't learn how to make change in your schedule, how you eat and what you do, you're gonna fall victim. And I don't need people running out here robbing a neighbor or anybody else. I don't try to push none of that. I don't want none of that. I don't. That's why they're trying to come up with stimulus packages, and I'm hearing some of the different things they're trying to do. How about some small things I can share with you? Burger King is doing some things where they're giving you kids meals. So again, they got an app. Go to Burger King, go to the app, and they're doing some things, all right? I asked other people to join in and do some things. Well, they gave you something. You need to look that up, okay? Marietta Diner in Marietta from 11 to 3 is giving out meals. Now, these things are out there. Now, you have to do a little research and find them. But when everybody say no one's doing anything, that's not always true. And that's why I want to bring this up to you. Because, again, I asked for this last week. If we all hurting, somebody should be doing something, and some people are. And I'm having hats off to Burger King right now for doing that small thing right there, because that's still a big thing. They don't have to. Marietta Diner, they don't have to. There's some people out there doing things, and we need to make sure we ain't in position just to take, but we got to be in position to live past this. And that's what this show's about today, is how are we going to live in this new order? Are we going to try to go back to our regular, and this ain't going to probably go back to regular? Or are we looking for a new?
Well, look, that's a very interesting point you made, going back to regular. I heard an interview 2-3 nights ago. Trump said that, reporter said, Trump, you keep suggesting that this thing's going to be over by Easter. And we're not sure, if you mean that or, if you really believe that. But, we want to know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, based upon what we know we have to do, I would suspect that we probably can make that timeline. And, get the world back in church on Sunday morning, Easter Sunday. He said, that's my objective. That's what I'm looking to do. Now, I'm not as necessarily a full blown out conspiracy theorist, but I have to look at the fact that the leader of the free world is saying this is going to be over in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and the world will be back to normal, versus what I'm hearing from the media and other politicians, etc. That suggests to me that Trump knows something that we don't know. Right? And if Trump knows anything, he knows too much to know that it's going to be over in 2 to 3 weeks. That means that everything we just went through was directed. It was performed. It was manipulated. The plan was executed, and we are getting back to business. I read one article that said the plan is to tear up as much stuff as possible until it's time to put horsepower into the election, and then you'll win by a landslide. And so, there's a lot there.
Yeah, it is.
So when you talk about it being over, Trump is suggesting it's going to be over in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and families will be in church on Sunday mornings, Easter Sunday morning. Just to sit back and contemplate that, man, says that something ain't quite right. Right? Something ain't quite right.
I would be the first to tell you, I don't believe everything I hear. I really don't like hearing everything from the media, and I like to investigate what I hear.
Right.
So when a lot of stuff get thrown at me, one of the things I can tell you is I go back to ancient times. So when they told me about the coronavirus, and I want to do some research to figure out where this comes from. Now, of course, it's been around. But again, they're talking about how how it came about. And just like you go through time, you go back to other things that came. All right? So when you start getting your research together and you start seeing some things and you start understanding what happened in China. So if China hit and then Spain and then you got over here, I want to see how China handled it. That's just me. Because I feel like if it hit China, hit Spain, here, I'm not a conspiracist, but I just want to know reality. What's their numbers? How did they contain it? And where are they at right now?
I don't have the numbers, but I read another article. I read hundreds of them. I read another article that said that China went through what we're going through 2 months ago. And it said they haven't had a new case since the middle of February.
And they had it for 2 months.
They went through what we went through. For 2 months, they went through what we went through. They discovered it. They started executing, mandates on the community from the government. They locked everything down. They quarantined the world, and then it stopped. Okay. And every report that I've read from scientists who are not looking at it from a standpoint of your individual body, right, but how it will respond on a macro level, says that it goes away quickly. All of the scientists are suggesting it comes and it goes away quickly. Even the mysticism behind it even suggested that as well. You know, that book that was written by Dean Koontz in 1981. He wrote a book, and he said in 2020 there will be a virus known as the coronavirus that will attack the world, and it will shut down the world, and just as fast as it came, it would disappear. He wrote this book in 1981, and which means that, was he revealing a part of the plan, or did he just have some divine intelligence to know what was going to happen? Because that was 19 years before it actually happened, and he called it to the year and to the month exactly. So we have to wonder, are human beings have that levels of intelligence, or are they a part of the concocted plan?
I'm going with the concocted plan.
Concocted plan. And listen, again, not being a full-blown skeptic, but the organization that is a major organization for the good in this scenario began its efforts in 1958. And they began to want to achieve some other things in the world, and so they had to begin, concocting plans and bringing leaders together, and some of it's always going to get out, and so we know that for a long time some of this plan has been in play, and they've been working towards it. I was very sad to discover today that I don't want to talk too much, you know what I'm saying, Jay?
No, yeah, I don't blame you, because, they ain't listening.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much, but the oncoming of the coronavirus has been in play for a long time, and the tragedies that we have experienced on our lands, from the World Trade Center to the Pentagon, to the Oklahoma City bombings, to the major shooting in Las Vegas. There's been several others, all linked to the coronavirus. And it's very difficult for people to wrap their minds around that kind of intelligence, But all you got to do is just read. All you got to do is study. And God kind of gave me a gift of study. And I went and asked some key questions along with prayer. And yeah, the world's not ready for this truth. That's why most of the truths don't come out, is because the world would really panic if they knew these truths. But we are a victorious people, and we have always been a victorious people. And I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about humanity. We are overcomers.
That's right.
We are creative.
Yes, we are.
We are warriors.
Powerful.
In this frontier of the universe. And we are not going to allow any people, and we're not going to allow any, as long as the Lord willing, we're not going to allow any natural thing, from diseases and viruses and none of that, to conquer us. We will overcome. And sometimes when you read the Bible, when you read the Word, it spends so much time talking about combating enemies. And for years, I never understood, why does the Lord keep talking about these enemies? I ain't never seen no enemies. Who are these enemies? Where are they coming from? What are they doing? How are they impacting my life? I just can't see it. And because I couldn't see it, I didn't acknowledge it. But the reality is that it's happening in great proportions in the world. Darkness is happening in great proportions in this world, and the Lord was trying to teach us how to protect ourselves from these enemies. And he was trying to teach us to look for his signs and wonders, so we would know that when a certain moon came up, we need to go left because the fire is coming on the right. Right. He's going to be speaking to us over time, and we just have to be resilient. We got to be confident in the faith, and most importantly, we got to take breaks when it's time to take breaks. So
we're about to take a break.
Let's go ahead and take another break.
We out. You know how we do.
Yeah, we're gonna come back with more Bar Talk with Jay right after this.
Buddha in the building. Yes, he was able to make it.
Whoa.
How you doing, man?
Whoa.
What's wrong?
Starting already.
Sir 3. It's not Buddha. Sir 3.
Sir.
But we need Buddha right now.
Okay, hold on.
Sir 3.
Sir 3 sounds
Sir
No, this man won't.
like Super Bowl or something.
Now, he want to be praised for the 3 minutes that he gives.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's all you get now. You don't even get a whole song. You get 3 minutes of a rap song.
No, you don't even get the whole. Look, you get some lyrics. You get a couple of bars. You don't even get the hook.
Coronavirus is
Sir
real.
Sir 3.
That means you less than 3 minutes.
Less than
you
three.
should at least get a chorus, you know what I'm saying? Though you should at least get the hook, you know what I'm saying? At least one time.
Sir 3.
You might not get the hook the second time. Most songs about 4 minutes, man. 4.5, 4:10.
It's 3. You don't even get a whole song. You ain't even full song.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I guess, so let me ask you something, man.
Yes, sir.
What's your wife doing with her spare time if you ain't hooking up but 3 minutes?
She got the kids.
that's a good one.
She also got the closet.
Yeah. In a minute.
And if you hear buzzing noise coming out of there, don't be offended.
Ain't no need to
Why not? For what?
Don't be
What I'm
offended.
getting offended for?
Because
He got it.
she gonna basically say,
He got
Say
it.
again, Jay.
Sir 3.
Say it again. What I got?
If she don't understand under 3,
What I got?
Sir 3.
I got mine.
Sir.
I'm good.
Sir 3, he's serving. He's serving quick.
I'm good.
Hey,
I got mine.
obviously he got things to do.
I happy.
make
So-
sure you at least buy 12 pack of batteries. You know what I'm saying? Give her
Nah, we got
opportunity.
rechargeable.
Rechargeable? Well,
Yeah,
at least
we-
help her
we
keep
got
on
rechargeable.
recharging.
But hell, she should have straight plug-ins. She have a direct connection. Well,
So you folks who don't know us, we're back with Bar Talk with Jay.
and Phil got
This
his
is my brother Phil in the house.
Sir 3, Sir 3.
Sir 3.
Yeah, he's a
Sir
3-minute
3.
man, and he seems to be quite proud of it.
Pride. Hurt me. No hurt.
I tell you, my boy said, show me any man who's a 3-minute man, and I'll take his woman.
And track.
Take it from
You
him.
only gonna get 3 minutes. He got 3 minutes to do it.
If you can't do it in 3, you ain't taking it.
He said it's the best 3 minutes of your life. What the heck? Wow. So,
Nothing you can do in 3 minutes.
he do a lot.
Except
a
hold
lot,
your
you-
breath, you know what I'm
I
saying?
do a lot in 3 minutes.
So we're talking tonight, Brother Phil. Talking about this whole new life that we're living right now under the circumstance of being quarantined for the virus.
Oh, that's simple.
And there's all kinds of avenues. There's literally probably hundreds of avenues that we could go to talk about it and kind of enlighten our audience a little bit, man. what would you have to? And listen, specifically about relationships. So now,
Well,
you didn't have to see them for 3
quarantine
hours.
where you know what place you do play
Keep talking, man.
and what place you don't play.
What's that mean?
But it's real simple. You know if you number one, a number two, or no number at all. It's real simple in quarantine.
In quarantine, you know if you number one, number two, or not on the platter at all.
Exactly.
So, not on the platter at all. We gonna get them first. I know I gotta go for the gusto. So the ones that really ain't on the platter at all, what they get during quarantine?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. And listen, here's the point. This is a great point to make. I'm
You
glad
know
you brought this
some-
up. Hold on. This is a great point.
They
to make.
actually do get something.
Watch this. Watch
There
this.
you go.
Crickets.
Nothing. Go with you.
Imagine a relationship.
Uh-huh.
You're in quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all don't talk. Y'all don't say nothing to each other. Y'all ain't got nothing for each other. Y'all ain't really helping one another. Y'all ain't really got no ideas. You ain't communicate. There is literally nothing there. I would imagine at the end of that period of time, you might say, well, it might be just time for me to move on. In some cases, I guess perhaps people's lives, the outside world, may stimulate some dialogue. You know, being at a meeting or with a family or went to the game or whatever, you come home, you might have some stuff to share, you know, and since you ain't got no new stories to share, that it might just get real quiet around the house. You know, she stay in her room, you stay on your computer or in your room or watch your movies, and that's a dull relationship. That's a relationship that may not have had much fire going into these troubles.
Quarantine is
No?
actually, I feel that quarantine is a good thing for a relationship.
I think so too. Bill, tell us why.
And
Yeah, because I got some rebuttal.
and the
What you got?
reason that I say quarantine is a good thing for a relationship is because it gives you more time to focus
I like that. I like that.
on
Absolutely.
you know individual plans,
Yes.
individual goals, couple goals. You know, so you can take this time and actually build from the time that you have. Now, if you're not in a relationship and you work, it has benefits too, because it lets you know exactly where you are in that person's life. Like
Anything
nowhere.
can have benefits when you have a determination and a drive.
Well, true indeed.
So again, it can go either way. But my whole thing is like when I hear about relationship and quarantine, how it can, I always go for mindset. I also go for what is your
now,
vision.
it can hurt too.
It can go all kinds of different ways. Remember, you said the number one, the number two, and then the fall offs.
I was just looking at the positive side.
1, 2, and fall offs.
But if you want to go to the negative side,
No, the problem was the negative side.
this quarantine can let you know if you really don't want to be with that motherfucker.
Now we're talking. Now that stay right there. Right there, cause
Stay right
keep that same energy.
Go ahead.
The quarantine gives you time that you normally don't have
Right.
because you moving and grooving and sticking it and jiving,
Right.
right? So during this time, you can be fruitful and multiply, or you can divide a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A whole lot of stuff.
See, and I think the point that I want to make, or I think we need to dialogue about is I guess you begin to discover if you really like this person, right? If you're around a person all day, every day, if you have World War III started and you had to be in a 10-foot bunker with your spouse forevermore, that you would figure out if you like them or not, And
that should have already been.
but the other half, listen, the other half of that equation is that it's hard not to bond with somebody who you are forced to spend time with.
How you figure that?
That's the way the world works. That's the way human psyche works. That's the way the spirit works.
That is not true.
Yes, it
I
is. You
disagree.
put two people together,
I
regardless of extreme situation. You put two
I
people
disagree.
together, 80% of the people together, they'll start to like each other. They'll start to build a team. They'll start to think together. They'll start to think alike. They'll start to work together. It will happen. They might be mad with each other for a while, but after a while, they're going to start to come together.
I disagree.
Every single time.
Just because you're stuck with somebody in extreme duress, that doesn't mean that you will grow fond of that person.
No, you will. Over time, you will. Absolutely.
No, I disagree.
Absolutely.
I disagree because I done worked with some people for years and years, and I still don't like their ass.
But you want to force to be with them. You want to force to change your mind.
If I was working with them, I was forced to be with them.
No,
I had to go to that job every single day.
Yeah, but that's only a few hours a day. And we're not talking
What
about
you
living.
mean? You
We're talking
spend more time at the job than you spend anywhere
Let's
else.
not change the subject. We're talking about being with this
that's
person.
being with somebody.
No, 8 hours is not like 24/7.
Well, the quarantine really ain't
listen,
24/7.
24/7
You
is
touched me. You coughed earlier.
24/7 is.
All right, Trump. Yeah. But we know where you stand. Hey, you just like somebody else on the couch, boy. You never depend on somebody that's gonna run. See,
24/7.
you already know he gonna run. He only gonna give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You know he a runner. He quick.
Y'all bring it back.
Him quick. All right, I'm gonna look at it like this.
Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna look at it like this. You need help.
I appreciate it.
Now,
I agree.
a lot of counseling.
Thank you twice.
If you haven't went, start. Okay, thank you. Because it's gonna help long term. Because again, in a relationship, how you look at things is definitely interesting at very best. But I can also tell you your mindset can determine all kinds of things. A quarantine can go a lot of different ways depending on where you at and where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can be forced in a situation with a person and I can make the best of anything. That's up to me and my mindset. If I'm with a person that I don't care to be with, it can be miserable.
Now,
That's
Watch this. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hear me.
Now,
If you
don't
are,
get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't be with someone and work through issues and accomplish goals. That doesn't mean you still have to like the person.
okay, I knew you was going to make that argument.
All right, well,
Come on.
I mean, that's a
Let's heighten the
legitimate
conversation.
argument.
I'm gonna have some
It's
fun
not
too.
legitimate.
But keep
That's
going.
Because what we're
Why
talking
is it not a
about,
legitimate
we're talking about two people when they
Right.
come together and they're forced to stay together. What ultimately happens is common goals. And they will start to work in your favor and you will start to work in their favor. There will be a communion that you may not like their attitude or their personality, but you will start to come together. It's not me. Ask people in prison. You bring two people together, they will start to come together. That's the way humanity works. Stop coming against the realities of the world. It's just the way it works. It don't mean you gotta love them, but you will create some fairness about one another.
If that
bro.
was the case, people wouldn't be getting killed and stabbed and shanked in prison.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm just saying. You said
But let's not talk about criminals, man.
You brought it up.
I'm just talking. Listen, when listen, man. Let me explain myself to you just a little bit, right?
Please.
Okay.
I'm confused.
I'm talking about when you bring two people together. In a general, see, you love extremes. Stop being on the corner to be in a disagreement.
I'm not.
When you put two people
disagreeing. I'm
together,
just stating
in
what
most
you said.
scenarios in the world, those people will come together and start working toward a common goal. Okay? We're not talking about two people in prison and one stole the other money and all that other stuff. See, you're trying to bring so much nonsense
That's
in
what
it.
you said.
We're talking about unity in the household
Only
of
commenting on
quarantine
what you
families.
stated.
You silly, Phil.
He can't help it.
Okay, I thought I was the only one.
You already know.
First of all,
I'm gonna be that way.
you said
Okay, Phil.
about the prison.
Stop it.
I'm just
not
commenting
even
on
buying
what
into
you
it.
said.
Right.
Now,
Everybody hear what you're saying.
We have common goals.
Right,
And the common goals on this show is to bring enlightenment,
right.
entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding.
All right.
To be understood.
Okay.
We agree, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay. See how that works?
Chirp.
This time for break. We're gonna break on that one right there. Cause we all confused. He done messed with my damn IQ.
Your mind bouncing off the
Coronavirus, this is real.
Stay on the damn
Now,
subject,
I'm gonna tell y'all real quick when we was talking about this about
A
staying,
common goal.
Commonly staying with somebody, it can be very difficult. It's when your mindset is. We're gonna go to break, but one of the things we was trying to say, it can be very difficult. So we all over the place because again, in life you can be. But one of the things we like to say, don't let the scare tactic get you. Why don't you have an understanding of what you two committed to? if you're in a relationship, this is a great time to go back over vows and promises.
Great.
Remember,
point,
one of the things that you did in front of God is when you gave that ring and you gave that promise, you gave a better understanding of what you was going to have.
I concur.
So we're going to come back. But the whole thing that I like to say is when we're spending time right now under quarantine, can we remember the things that we promised? Because sometimes you got to be held. Because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's like Kraft said, gather all your stuff. Have it where you can quickly go, but bottom line, understand what you have. What you have is what you with, what you invested in. Are you willing to leave it, or are you taking it? And we're going to have some more questions when we get back. I'm gonna come back with something a little different. We're gonna leave that off the table. We gonna go with, brought to you by Dispose, a garbage company that can bring you a whole lot of things, and one of the things they can bring you is a 25-yarder that they can be delivered to your house. They can get all that trash and debris out of your way. So while you're out during the coronavirus and you want to get some things cleaned up, it's $300. We're waiving a delivery fee for we can do some great things for you. If it's a bigger project, we can give you a dumpster of a 30-yard for $400. Waiving the delivery fee for we can do some things to help out the community at a time of need. And again, all these are underlined with a fee of $5 a ton if it's over 5 tons. If not, it's the price that I gave you the first time. Reason why, just in case the tonnage, I'm not trying to go backwards. I'm trying to make sure I give back to the community. And again, that's what Dispose is trying to do for you. The number that you can call, 770-462-8984. Now, back to what we trying to talk about tonight before we put a little change to the game. One of the things we was trying to say is during this quarantine, what's all going on with relationships? Now, we went in for the marriage and we went in for being in monogamous. I'm going to just change the game up real quick. What about these kids?
Kids.
All right.
Okay.
Now,
the kids.
I'm pretty sure some teachers are happy as hell right about now because your kid that's at home right now gave them pure hell at school. Now, how you gonna handle this? I like to say this is gonna be very interesting because now they're trying to do a lot online. You know, to get these kids further developing on. And I get that, and again, this is some of the things we got to go through because this, again, something got thrown on us. But again, this is one of them times where you was blaming the teacher when they was telling you how they was acting. I really got to say this is the time we really got to come together because you know you don't want to be there either. Now, I feel like this is what, the week of quarantine, 1 week. By the time the second week come, you'll be running for the coronavirus. You'll be trying to tackle it to get them kids back.
Listen, you might figure out you don't like your kids.
I already knew. That's why I'm glad mine grown. Because I don't like them as is. I love them. I don't got to like them. But they do things other than what I care for. Why? Because they got the power to choose and do them. Now, I set some things in front of them, and they don't choose none of that. They going to do their own thing. So I learned not to get a lot of expectations on what they're going to do. I just know they're going to do it. Somehow, some way different.
Yeah.
Now, when I say younger, if I had to be at home, and I always was at work, and then luckily back then I was married, so my wife spent more time out at home with them. She was the patient one, and she did a lot of that. So for all of us to be trapped, I don't think they'd have made it.
Well, listen,
As bad as my kid, that wouldn't have made it.
one thing for sure is that parents are being forced to spend more time with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, they're being forced to help them get their assignments and get their homework done and get that homework turned in. And, I guess in a lot of cases, maybe even teaching the kids a little more of the electronic way. I know that teachers are also still bombarded with a ton of work. They still got tons of papers to grade. They still got a lesson plan to make sure they get implemented. A friend of mine who's a teacher is telling me that she's having a challenging time even communicating with the parents to get the students to get their work done. And so, there is a huge impact on the home and the family.
And I feel like, but even with that impact, they ain't got to deal with the physical. You know how mentally challenging it has to be to deal with so many kids and their behavior issues. And I have to give it to them. Every teacher I honor. I promise you, this is not negative towards any. I honor anybody that's willing to take on a young youth and try to pour into them for they can be an asset to this world. Please understand. I am praising you, but I'm also getting on the parents. And that's right, I'm talking about the parents. The ones that sitting there just waiting for them to go back. Because you just tired of your own and it's easy to push off. Okay? And that's what it is. It became an easy, I get a break when they're at least in school. But it's still a responsibility. And if you take it serious now, when they get back, they'll have more intent to do better. Because now they already see how you feel about them.
Yeah.
But if you just quick to be shoving them off and letting them play outside and not understand they need structure. And that structure needs to start at home. It does not need to start at school. We got to twist it. Where you just have these kids and you push them in school and they give them the structure and they just get home, they play, they go to sleep, and we push them back. And that's the school's job. That's why these teachers got it so hard. My whole thing is now that they're home, are you building a plan? Or do you have them structured where they do their homework, they eat lunch? No, they can't just run around and play. They can't, because if you keep doing that, that's why they're doing it in school.
Yeah, you take the work ethic out of it.
Right.
And one of my fears, I'm not really afraid, but one of the things that concern me is that, if they do a great job at getting this done, there's a chance that the governmental society could push that on them. I know schools are a profitable business for government, but imagine not having to having a certain number of students and you get paid for having those student service, and you don't have buildings and land and grass to cut and toilets to clean, and you don't have to buy supplies for school. You don't have to worry about serving lunches.
Yeah.
And students are still getting their education.
Brick and mortar not going anywhere.
Yeah. The challenge, brick and mortar is probably not going to, because it's so established in our society, but we are proving that we can do it in a different way. And there may be more students who do it in a different way, especially gifted students. Can probably get that done. They're probably, gifted students are probably ready to start higher education levels as well, because people get degrees through the computer. So there's a huge dynamics. The major dynamics I think that's happening in the home right now is structure being implemented. And that structure means that yes, every single day we're going to have homework. Every single day we got to feed the kids. Every single day we have to clean. Every single day we may have to make a certain errands. And I would imagine somebody in that equation is saying, well, baby, why don't tomorrow afternoon I go hang out with my boy?
I mean, but the thing is,
the
only thing that this quarantine is doing is forcing you to realize what it was like when we were coming up with our parents, because our parents didn't have daycare. I mean, shoot, our parents was, at home with us. School let out, boom, we got the kids. It wasn't no after school care or anything like that.
Athletic program.
Yeah,
we had athletic programs.
I mean, but
not at those ages.
Yeah, exactly. So it pretty much what it's doing now is forcing you to be the quote unquote grandma that you were back then, and the parents that you were back then, because basically most of the time, most parents, when their job was over, it was right after school was over, because they had to take care of their kids. So it's just putting the emphasis on, just being with the kids and that family structure that we used to have back in the day.
I really feel like that's what it's going to now, where it is very important for us to get a grip on that. Because one of the things I like to say is you key. Because if you didn't have that foundation, and if you was raised somewhat differently, it's one of the things you want to grab hold to. That's why history repeats, and that's why you got to go back in history to realize how you can get past a situation right now in front of you. History can help you big time. Now, they say history is not important. That's the saddest thing in the world is when you believe that. When you don't understand, we repeat it all the time. So if we go back, and it's one of the things I'll tell you that can help you through, is you have to put structure. Structure starts at home before school.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we got a big working society, and sometimes both parents work. So a lot of that is shifted. Okay, we know that, and that's what always had to happen because again, to keep up with the Joneses and live society today, for you to be able to do a lot of the things you want to do, there's a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of it's work. Okay, I'm not tripping on the work ethics, but right now, when you got to shut things down, you got to understand priority. Now, is it really just all in work? Or am I trying to build a future within my kids so they can have a better understanding and they can have a better chance?
Yeah, just might make a parent be more serious.
Yeah, because it's like, look at his behavior at home.
Yeah.
Look at the things he's doing. Maybe we don't need him in that surrounding. Mm-hmm. You know, you got people that's being bullied. All right. Well, if these kids are at home and your home structure ain't, your kids might be that one out bullying. Yeah, and they making laws now to hold parents more responsible, and parents ain't liking it. But guess what? They're home now, and they bullying you, and you have a hard time with them. But you think it's fair to somebody else. This is the time that you have to focus and see what your future gonna be with your own. I promise you, one of the things I thought about during this quarantine is making sure family come together. If I got a niece out there with my great nephew. Yo, if y'all out there and y'all struggle, y'all need to be in my house, okay? Y'all need to be focused in here because I need to make sure my family is safe, okay? Because I don't know what everybody else gonna do, but I'm gonna protect. I'm not looking for my niece to get ran in on, and then I gotta go and it's an aftermath.
Yeah.
They come here, it's a before bath. You gonna read about this one because I'm gonna hold mine down. I'm not a person of violence. But don't you ever bring that shit to my doorstep, because I don't bring it to yours. It's just that simple. I am trying to be a good person that don't believe in evil, but I know evil exists. So don't bring what I don't care for. I am a positive vessel. So I'm bringing for you don't have to worry about it. I got this. I need you to get yours. And if we all have each other, it's less confusion, it's less fighting. I'm not in the store taking from nobody. If somebody grabbing all the toilet tissue and I don't get no toilet tissue, guess what? I know I'm going to find another way because toilet tissue ain't the only goddamn thing that we did way back in the past. But dude, they got some things, skirt water straight up your behind. You need to realize there's some wipes. There's some other things you could take, paper towels and cut them out, but I don't have to fight you for something that you feel like you scared. It ain't going to be no more. I already know there's other ways. As long as you know that, I don't have to fight nobody in no store for nothing. I can go, I can see, and I can carry. I got an open carry permit on me that I can carry mine. And I am not going somewhere to shoot somebody over something stupid. My whole thing is when you enter my home and try to hurt anyone in my family. I can, yeah. Okay. Makarov, 357. And if you come in my home, I got a 12. Let you know it on the up front, because this ain't what you want. And I got the bullets beforehand, because again, it's not about Armageddon. It's just about I am a person that's going to protect my own. I'm not going around showing nobody nothing to hurt anyone. That's not me. I want you to know that up front. My whole thing is I protect my own because I have a business. And in my business, I have to protect my people, and I carry money. So when you feel like you just gonna come and I'm an easy lick, just please understand, I was on the street first. Some things you don't want to go for. I'm just giving you hints just in case. So as I go out on the street, now again, I have to be out there. I don't go out because I want to go against the order. I do trash. And one of the things, my company is still going. And I'm out there. I'm not trying to get this virus. I'm making sure my people wear gloves. We don't have contact with people. But I still have to get the trash up. When you know this world is really at a very breaking point, when you see the trash not being picked up.
Yep.
Because when I tell you when that happens, I promise you, it's some serious problems.
We got a problem.
So I'm out there, and I'm trying to make sure their safety is in front of me. Mm-hmm. So it's no joke. So I honor all the nurses, the doctors, and everybody in these hospitals that's combating this on the upfront. Y'all are the first line of defense. I honor y'all. For all the ones out there driving the trucks, the garbage trucks, the food trucks, and everybody bringing the supplies in. That's doing this because they know they want to keep the economy going. I honor you. But all y'all sitting at home and complaining about everything, that's why I want to do this show. It's no time to complain. It's time to do something. Go home, get your kids in order, get your affairs in order.
Yeah.
And we're not doing it. We can't wait to go back to regular. Regular might not ever happen.
Exactly.
After this show, and they do a lockdown, how we know life can change. It's like what you were saying earlier. You might not be ready for the new world order.
Oh.
But why not get ready? This show is to tell you, they keep saying 2 weeks. I know, but they saying, you heard it yourself.
No.
Trump even said by the 21st, everything should be back open. Now, I'm going to be honest with everybody.
They push schools out to the 24th.
Okay, well, the 24th. But I heard 21st, 24th. You go 24th. I don't care what you want to look at. I am preparing for long term. I am not looking for what they keep telling me.
Back, though.
Because all they doing is push. But if I look past that and I'm able to prepare, no matter what they say I'm prepared for.
Exactly.
So can we prepare for what's not being told, but for what we know?
Right.
And history showed how long it took China. Spain is having a difficult time. And then we want to look at a time frame that don't even fit in what they did.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense to me. Now, that ain't conspiracy. These are just facts. I'm going with factual numbers.
Keep pushing back.
Not grabbing nothing else. Not saying they can't stop before or later, but we can prepare for more long term than short term. And if I prepare for long term, I'm not panicking, and that's why I'm not in the store trying to fight you or anybody else, because I already stocked them. I just get a little stuff here or there.
272 cases in 24 hours?
Ooh, a lot.
272 cases of
Positive coronavirus.
But again,
24 hours.
there's more people being tested.
Yeah.
California mayor has ordered.
That's the most.
The California mayor has ordered all people that's out there on the front line, from servants to second line, to be tested.
Rightfully
Because
so.
that's why you can start figuring out how widespread it is. I can honestly tell you, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now, and everybody in Atlanta has not been tested.
Exactly.
So to hear these numbers right now in Atlanta, I like to say these numbers is not factual. They're factual on just the testing, but until everybody gets tested, you really don't know. And then we don't have no lockdown, so you can travel. So you can be infected and go on other places.
It's still going. It's
So
still
again,
going
Do I hear a conspiracy?
No, I'm just saying, I got a governor in Georgia that wants things to be just like somebody else in the White House, feeling like we can go back to normal as fast as possible without a lockdown. Looking at China and how they had to lock it down to secure
in Spain,
but you want to do it where you don't, and it just gonna disappear.
No,
and then you expect something to happen overnight, and we all gonna be this happy going back to our regular lives, and our 401ks come back from nowhere, and then everything is gonna be okay. Well, your 401k ain't looking real good right about now. If you don't want to look at it, don't. But I can tell you all day long, if that's the only thing you invested in, and you don't put your affairs in order like Kraft is telling you, you gonna be in a spot that you ain't gonna like. I ain't telling you to move nothing. I'm just saying.
It's time for us to take a break.
Already?
I want to.
You
was. You was really on one. Give us just a minute, folks. We're going to be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay.
Some things, man. What you want to go with, bro?
Well, I was kind of responding to what you were suggesting at the end of the last segment, which is all of this being over in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and you and Phil kind of had a little comment thought right there. So I'm just posing the question: what does it insinuate if, in fact, all of this is over by Easter? Because the president is suggesting that it's going to be over, right?
Yeah.
Now, he said himself, he said, I don't know everything, and some of my plans have failed, but my plan is to get it back up by Easter. What would insinuate if that was to happen?
I would definitely say it was a serious conspiracy. To do a timeline way faster than what everybody else did, I don't think that's a miracle. I really feel like that's a plot. And you're just ahead of it and you're telling it. So my whole thing is I hold the head accountable for what it said.
So what I'm hearing, and I want to hear from you too, Phil. Man, this is powerful because I've been suggesting this the past show and of course this show that he's suggesting that if the world goes back to normal too fast, then the world will be full of skeptics about this virus. Everybody will say, how is it possible to have achieved getting rid of it and sending our kids back to school and us going back to work and social distancing being backed off, banished, right? How is that possible in 3 weeks unless there's something else we don't know? Right? What do you think the ramifications are of coming back to the world, restarting the world too fast, restarting the United States too fast?
Well, with everything that China has went through, and Spain and Italy, and then all of a sudden, we're back in 3 weeks, and he gets the stimulus and all of that. It's just a nice little ploy to say, hey, look what I did. So when it comes for time for re-election, hey, I got the economy back on track. Same thing that he's been, preaching since he got in office.
I don't want to talk politics here, right?
But that's all it is.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I don't want to talk politics, but what you're suggesting says that Trump does himself a disservice to bring the world back too fast.
No, for him it does a service because he's like, hey, I did this. And I got America back on track.
Okay, and what
they said, the naysayer said,
watch this.
Hey,
and that suggests that people are going to believe Trump did that. The only way for it to work in his favor is
he's still at what, 46% approval rate?
Man, I be wanting to comment on some of these things, but I don't believe any of that stuff, man.
I'm just saying, these are the numbers.
No. If you think about numbers, look at the last election and tell me about the numbers.
I'm talking about
you can't look at the numbers, man.
I'm talking about what the media is putting out in regards to his approval.
Okay, let me start addressing this a little bit. The media is owned by the enemy.
No shit, now, Sherlock.
Okay, so why are you telling me about the media's numbers?
Because they work hand in hand. What do you mean?
Well, why are you telling me about it? So you sound like you believe it.
I didn't say I believe it. I'm just saying that they work hand in hand.
I like that. When he said it, hand in hand, I got it. And then you don't necessarily believe it. So one of the key things is it goes right back to you. So where is your belief when it comes to this whole system, Phil? Because again, and again, it's a great question because again, Kraft already standing firm on conspiracy and also his beliefs. So are you just believing in the organization, in the politics, and everything that the media is saying? Because if you repeat numbers, it's like it becomes factual. So it's almost like you believe in what they're saying compared to not saying because I'm not pressing a lie. I don't have to repeat a lie. If you told me a lie and I know it's a lie, I don't got to repeat a lie.
My belief in the system is getting the system where it originally started.
For the people.
Governed for the people.
By the people.
That's my belief in the system.
I like that.
However, will I live to see that come to pass? Nah, I doubt it. Because it's been run amok too long, too far, too much. And, you know, I mean, prime example is when Gore ran for president. I know that's a long time ago.
That's important. That's important.
But when Gore, that's why Gore was like, you know something, I'm done with politics. And he went back to teaching.
Why?
Because, he won on the popular vote.
But?
We ain't never president ever won on the popular vote.
No, because we're in an electoral college.
Exactly. That's why Gore was like, I'm done.
And so now you're alluding to exactly what we're saying.
Yeah, that's what.
We don't even believe in our own election process.
No, we don't.
Right? The whole thing is
How
swayed.
can you actually believe in the election process when
We're saying that we don't.
Your boy Jed down there.
Oh, you ain't go
Man,
there.
listen, let me tell
I know
you
he ain't go there.
I'm gonna say something.
I didn't think he was
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
say a few things.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead, cry, man. Go ahead, cry.
Your boy Jed.
I'm gonna just say this, and again, I've been doing a lot of intense research, and I shared a couple of these ideas with our boy C on the boards here tonight. That let me tell you how far some of this goes back, potentially leading up to the virus.
How far removed we are?
Yeah, I read stuff like that. The good guys and the bad guys are at war right now.
I always have been. Always will be.
And what's most important about it right now is that history is revealing itself. Okay? So I discovered that the banker for Hitler was George H.W. Bush's uncle. He was Hitler's banker.
Okay.
Right? I had discovered that 90% of all of the guns made for both World War I and World War II
Made right here.
were made by the Remington Gun Company.
Which is
And
right
do you
here.
know who owns the Remington Gun Company?
Who?
Samuel Bush and the Bush family.
Right here.
I
Along
am-
with the oil,
you know,
with 9/11. I mean, we
Okay,
can
listen.
take the Bush family
Okay.
way back.
Come on, man. Listen. So, what we have here has been a history of conspiracy, a history of potentially great leaders, great people, prosperous, prominent, running the world.
I wouldn't say
Running the world.
a
We have-
history of great leaders. I would say a history of money.
Okay, whatever.
Because
let's keep
just
going.
because you have money, that doesn't mean that you're a great leader. Because history shows that as long as you have more money than the other person, which could be the good guy, you can bully him in court and get what you want. Because that's what history shows. Doesn't make a difference. We can go back to the Ford. We can go back to Tesla. We can go back to Mars.
Speaking of Ford,
Whoa.
Ford produced 100% of Hitler's tanks.
And that's surprising to you?
No, it's not.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not arguing with you, man. Stop,
Oh, okay.
stop taking me off the mark.
I'm just
Here's the
asking.
point that I'm making. I'm telling you that there's been a history of all of those bad guys together
The whole time.
the whole time. And we are currently in a situation where we are being extremely manipulated by those folks. If we go to church on Sunday, Easter Sunday, bruh, we're talking about a major bamboozlement.
What do you think the USA is made from? And communism
Are
and
you on
capitalism.
our side? How do you,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where you keep going, man. No, come on, man. We trying to all agree that there is conspiracy going on.
Total.
So the point of the whole
It's been there
discussion,
since the beginning of time.
the point of this whole discussion was to bring a greater awareness level to people's minds that game has been run for many years. And if we go back to normal life in 2 weeks for the greatest scare in the history of mankind, we will see nothing but the manifestation of bamboozlement. Now, I believe that there is perhaps a coronavirus.
Right.
I believe perhaps that it was tactical in its use. And I believe that the world is involved in this. And I also believe that they're accomplishing some really, really extreme goals behind the surface. Right?
But the thing is,
our government can never be trusted again if we go back to work in 2 to 3 weeks. Who is going to ever trust the government in any way again if we come back in the next 2 to 3 weeks?
You want to talk about conspiracy, and you want to talk about, I mean, you can't stop at one point in history and say, I want to go to this point in history and then I want to come forward. You got to go all the way back.
So where you going?
You got to go to slavery. You talking about bamboozle? I mean, they strip us from our history. Correct. Strip us from our native tongue. And then they give us a Bible and say, hey, everything that we telling you, we're going to beat out of you, but we're going to give you this book to hold us accountable and to make you feel good about what we doing to you.
Link that to the
I mean, you going to have to, if we talking about conspiracy, we're going to have to go all the way back to where conspiracy started from. And that's robbing us from who we truly are. And then bring it forward. We just can't go to the 1960s and say, I'm going to stop right there and then I'm going to bring it forward. No. The first ship that sailed was the Great Hope Jesus. Come on now. If we're going to go there, we got to go there. We can't stop at one point and then say, I want to bring it up forward. We're going to have to deal all the way with everything that they took from us. Period.
So only thing he's saying, Kraft, is it goes deeper. But it's all the same. Only thing he said is you stopped at one point. He went further because conspiracy started long time ago. And that power and that control is what's being done right now, and it's being recognized. Yeah. And that's why we're doing this right now, to shake it up.
And the point that I am making is there is going to be extreme, I would think that there will be extreme civil unrest if we go back to work too early. Because everyone will now wake up. Everybody's afraid of a virus right now. Now all of a sudden people are going to wake up and say, hey, something didn't happen quite right there.
No.
Right?
No.
You don't think the world's going to say
They're not
that?
afraid of virus, bro.
Yes,
They're afraid of the
virus,
powers
man.
that be.
They're afraid of virus right now.
No, they're
bro.
afraid of the powers that be.
No, I don't know who you've been talking to, but people are afraid of virus. I've been working all week, and people will not barely look me in the eye. They will not touch me.
If you really want to talk about conspiracy, they're afraid of the powers that be. They care less about the virus.
They're not.
No, hold on.
They're not
Hear
afraid
me
of
out.
the powers that be.
Because history shows that any person or persons who stands up against the power that be, the first thing that they do is kill them.
Yeah, but listen, only
if we want to go, if you want to take the conspiracy ride,
listen,
that's been happening since the beginning of time.
Okay.
The only difference that
Phil,
it's the same
we
story. The
gotta
cast just changed.
We got to make
that's
these,
it.
We got to make these relevant. Okay, let's
Conspiracy is relevant since the beginning of time.
Okay,
You telling me it hasn't been?
Can I finish?
Oh, go ahead.
I would appreciate it. People in general are afraid right now of a coronavirus. And when they realize that there's a huge potential non-virus that's going on, they're going to feel lied to. I'm going to feel lied to.
I'm with you.
Right?
No.
I'm gonna feel like
there's
hey,
a virus
I
out
can't trust
It is.
anything that's coming at me anymore,
Mhm.
right? And that's where the civil unrest is gonna happen. So everyone will begin to buy into conspiracy theory. Right?
Okay,
And everybody will start asking questions. Whether it started, 10 years ago, or whether it started 3,000 years ago, that everybody's going to be asking the question now. And everybody will have, to some degree, I think, lose trust in the system.
Let me ask you a question.
What's that?
Have you ever trusted the government?
Once upon a time, I did.
When?
When I was
And why?
When I didn't know. When I was a young man and I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I trusted them because I thought they were the authority. And here's the point. Here's the point. Let me finish making this point. Because I heard and I know we got to go to break. I heard
Let's skip the break. Don't worry about it.
a military officer who was going out doing some of this work this happened. He was so moved that people are just living regular lives, man. The average people, they just living regular common folk lives. Their great joys is going to the swamp, going down to the waters and fishing. They don't know the powers that be. And they are not afraid of the powers that be. They live little bitty lives doing little bitty things, and they're not concerned about these great amounts of people who are influencing their life. They're not thinking in that way. You see what I mean? Listen, right now, today, 80%, I shared this with C earlier, 80% of every single dollar spent in international commerce is owned by 150 companies. The total number of companies is 41,000, but all 41,000 are owned by only 150 companies. And it is comprised of 80% of every dollar used in international trade and sale. That's basically saying that 20% of the people own 80% of all the wealth in this world.
You want to know why?
No, I don't. I already know why. Right? So listen, it's time for us to take another break. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay. Talk with Jay.
Oh man, we back. We in the building doing this.
Woo.
Now, only thing I can tell you is this is the last half.
It's so
of
hard sitting here, man. Sometimes,
It is, but we're facing a time right now where a lot of people feel like, well, we don't know.
We don't know. What do you?
I'm not gonna tell you this. This show is about all answers. But one of the things I can tell you is about responsibility. And I don't go out here on these streets. And I have to be out here because one of the things I do is trash. I want to make sure the trash is picked up. But I go with my people. I'm not going to talk about nobody. But somebody on TV had somebody that said that they might have had a virus and they quarantined themselves and he walked away. All right? I'm not talking about an individual, but I can talk about me. My people don't go out there without me. And I did this many years ago. I did this when I worked for big corporations, and now I'm doing it when I'm working for what I see is my own corporation. Because if I'm not willing to do it, I'd be damned if I say no. If you're gonna fight for somebody that's gonna fight. If you're gonna run your ass off, but don't ask me to fight. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like we're getting lazy and complex here when we don't need to. If we the strongest force, then we need to show it. You might have robbed me from where I came from, but you can't take from what I am.
Let me ask you this, Jay. We talked the last segment specifically about if we all go back to work too early, will the American trust be lost? Will the world trust be lost in some way?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I agreed. So you agreed? So that American
I
trust
would
will
agree.
be lost in leadership and government? Just your opinion, yes or no?
It's twofold.
So
For me, I think due to this administration, it'll be a nay. However, for me, it's yes. But with everything that Trump is out there doing, and he's putting out there, and him trying to get another term, I feel that no, it won't be. And right now, you got to think about what's going on and how everything is affecting the election and up to the election.
Okay.
So if he gets everything back on track, he's going to be praised and all this, like, he did it, no one else could do it, and all this BS. So, nah, I mean...
Does that suggest that the theory is that if we go back to work too early, the ploy would have been to get reelected?
It's always a goal to get reelected.
So
Because he's not a good candidate. No has been.
we keep changing the subject, man. Do you believe that the coronavirus is real in its essence?
A good ploy? Yeah, I think it's a great ploy.
Do you think it's the ploy?
I think it's a great ploy to get him reelected.
But you don't think it's the ploy? We're talking about conspiracy theories here, man. Come help us out.
Yeah, I just said I think it's a great ploy.
No, but do you think it's the ploy?
No, it's not the ploy.
Okay.
It's a much bigger picture than just getting him reelected.
Okay. Oh, it's bigger than that, but that's one of the objectives.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's assume we all go back to work. It's Sunday. We all go back to work on that Monday. And what do we say to the world?
Bullshit. Oh, sorry.
Okay. That's a good start.
I would.
What do we say?
I would say look for self-change. I have to evaluate off of everything else. I can't always move with somebody else, but I can move within myself. I got to look at family. I got to look at myself. And I got to say, if I don't even trust in the administration, I don't trust what I see, I have to do the best thing I can do for me.
What is that?
And that is start understanding the whole process. When it comes to voting, when it comes to going out here and doing things, am I moving in the right direction? I like to say I was lackadaisy, and don't knock just the president. There's other things that we need to watch out when we vote for. There's a lot of people ain't stepping up to the table. Just like I will be the first to tell you, I'm not liking what my governor doing. So I need to know when we gotta vote. I need to make sure my vote counts and what I do count instead of complaining. Is anything that you don't like and you want to do something about, then do a little research and figure it out instead of complaining. They want us to complain and not do.
That's exactly right.
I don't give a damn to hear your complaints about Trump because it ain't changing nothing.
Here's what I'm hearing. Jay is going to begin to understand how all this happened.
Exactly.
That's kind of what he just said.
I want to break it down so I have a better understanding, for I can start making my vote and I can start electing something better than what I see. Compared to complaining. If we all sit around and complain, it's just like our kids. I say they're at home now. Oh, I don't like them being home. We need this restart. They need to be back in school because I don't want to deal with them. The problem is you. You cannot push that back on somebody else when you don't want to take responsibility. Trump, I might not have voted for him. I was pushing for Bernie from day one. Everybody told me he too old, this, that, and that. I was going for this. I was going for what I wanted, and it didn't happen. I didn't get mad about it, but what I can tell you, I had a thought process for what I wanted. It didn't happen. Guess what? That don't mean I quit. He didn't quit, but what I can tell you also is, did I look at everything else? You just looking at the presidency. So that's the only time you go to vote? Why?
It has to be.
I got people that goes to school lunches. Those people are elected. And they ain't looking out for the best interest. So I need to start looking at some of these other things that's on the table. If you're going to get into politics, understand it, to realize it ain't just one election. There's multiple that goes on.
And
so
do
if I start learning,
think that participating in more politics is going to be part of the answer?
I can't just
That's
tell
the only
you.
way we can make a change.
I want to make a difference.
I would like to say
That's the
when
only
you
way
don't
we can
when
make
you
a
don't care to, you ain't part of. I'm just saying this whole thing is showing me again and again. The more lack of what you do, the more they got control of. I can't stop everything, but I can get more educated to realize, just like you did. When I start reading to see what all went on in the past, it's because I don't care for the future.
Yeah, and one reporter said, and he said it this way. It's very interesting. He said, "We're looking." He said we have to look back to see the future.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, what he was suggesting was that all the bullshit that's happening right now has been manifesting itself. It's been coming forth. It's been coming to the surface, but nobody's been paying attention. So we continue to vote. We continue to play in the games. We have to learn.
No, it's
and to do something different. I like Jay taking ownership and taking responsibility.
It's not that people just accept status quo too easy.
That means what? They don't look over the shoulder and see what really happened.
No, they just don't look into what's actually happening. Because how can you say, or how can you hold someone accountable for minimum wage when they in six figures? But these are the people that are making the rules for minimum wage. But when the government shut down, they still get paid. Minimum wage is what, $7.25 now? But the people that are lobbying for minimum wage or making minimum wage are in six figures. Anytime you really want to make change, if you want to make change in minimum wage, those people that's making six figures, take their trust fund. Take their bank account. And the minimum wage that they say that you can survive on, let them live for 6 months, not even a year, 6 months.
Listen, that's
a great theory.
That's a great theory.
It's a great theory.
But listen,
I know it's not going to happen, but
here's the reason why
that's
it's
the
not gonna
only
happen.
way you can make change.
Listen,
is the people who making the decisions are forced to live in the decision.
No, here's
are
the
forced
thing.
to live in.
That'd be great, but that
What Jay is suggesting
Yeah, right.
is that we have to begin to take a better look at who we choose to be our leaders, because
Yeah, but you can't do that just by participating in the presidential race.
You can't disagree with
I
what I
just
just
said
said.
I just said
Yeah,
that.
come on,
That's
man,
the
come
problem.
on. Listen,
Don't look at that one race.
right.
You got other races that goes on throughout the year, and that's the problem.
Well, listen, here's the problem. The problem is that we got a president who was elected who had no prior political experience, zero. And now he's swaying millions of people with all kinds of different ways.
They
right?
say
That's
he
what
was
you
a
do to the
quote-unquote
polls, right?
good businessman.
Yeah, all kinds of polls,
Keep that
all
to
kinds of stuff,
yourself.
right? Now,
Yeah,
Bar
what
Talk
they
with
say.
Jay do
So-
not
so-
endorse that commercial.
I don't either.
Well,
but
you
the
just
thing
said
is, I said
I don't know
America.
I don't know what the
Because
answer
thing
is here.
Great America.
Come on, man.
If you file bankruptcy so you can't pay your employees, I'm sorry, you're not a good businessman.
Then you just said that though. Quote
But
unquote.
Phil,
There's no quote.
That's a part of the game.
Nah, but that just shows you only.
No, that's a part of the game.
That just shows you only for self.
No, well, I mean, there may be. Yeah, lots of stuff.
You're only for
listen,
self.
If the government,
And how can you
if
say
the government made a mistake and didn't charge you taxes next year, I wonder if you'll go tell them.
Hey, what?
Probably not. You know what I mean? Come on, let's get into
Put me
real
on the
world
list.
right here.
Put me on the list.
That's the point that I'm making. You know that there are people who are getting privilege, and then they get privilege, and then they get blackmailed because they got that privilege.
All I can
And
tell you,
then
I'm like
next thing
Cardi
you
B.
know-
Put me on the list.
And then next thing you know,
If I get
there's
paid for it, I'm down.
next thing you know, they're in leadership power, not being able to do the right thing because their dirt is being held against them. And it's happened for years. That's the point. It's happened for years.
That's
and
the way
years
politics
and years
works.
and years. And so now, I think, to much degree, as we start to close out this show, we only got about 3 minutes here, 2-3 minutes. I think we have to somehow, and I don't know what that answer is, we're going to have to go beyond the voting process to make change. And we oftentimes in our generation, we haven't even contemplated such a thing. But if we keep doing the same things, and expecting different results, we're foolish. Right?
I mean,
We're gonna
we
keep
tried
getting the
that
same
already.
results, right?
Can
We
I
can't stop.
Can I
We
give a
gotta keep
suggestion?
trying,
Can I
because
give-
we
can-
can't count on voting.
Can I give a challenge?
We
Can I
tried
give
that
it? Can I
already.
Go
give
ahead.
it?
Go
I'm
ahead, Joe.
gonna give a challenge. I see all these different things going on. I want to give a challenge. We at a dark time right now. I don't want to look at the government to help me. I want to get all the churches to come. No. I want the churches to come together, because again, if you can ask for a tithe, you can ask for understanding, because if God is leading you, this is the time that all churches need to come together and fulfill a prophecy. Because if he spoke to you and you are giving your people an understanding, this is the time that we need to come together. Because again, the government already led us astray. I like to say our religion has divided us. At this point in time, can I ask a challenge for religion to come together and find a common goal of getting us to a better place? Now, I'm asking because I don't even know nobody else to ask. Because I'm not asking the government to save us. I'm not asking that. I'm asking for people to come together to get a common goal, to get a grips on reality. Because again, if he left us with a prophet that can preach, then that prophet should understand what he's teaching. His teaching should be being us in a better place, beaming us to get to his likeness. We should be more on the land, but we more on drugs. We getting away from where we need to be. We ain't entrusting in him, and we entrusting in the ones that's pushing away from him. Schools are not having the Bible in it. They're not having prayer in it. Everything is pushing away from it, is pushing to man. Man is the biggest deception on earth. He put us here, and now we think we bigger than him. Don't idolize the shit that we see. Understand you. I promise you, I feel an anointing in me from him to tell you, this is not to be. I'm not looking for a president or a person to tell me. When I lived long enough to realize the mistakes that I made, I don't repeat them, so why shall I repeat those? We are not understanding history because we're repeating time. All I'm asking is for some people to come together, because the leaders that everybody looking for is half the time within us. I don't have to entrust failures. That's a choice. You're going to have to stand in front of me on TV to make me believe you. I don't care about the gold you wear and the shit you say. If it don't fit my morals and my standards, it ain't for me. And that's all I'm asking you. As you raise your kids and you look at your life, what are you setting your standards by? Because in what is it getting you? You have to reevaluate. Having patience with no understanding makes no damn sense. And that's why your kids run amok. Because you are the culprit. I am asking us to look at each other at a different time and get a different result by doing things different. You don't like what you see. You don't keep doing it. We at home now. You with your family because of this situation. He shut it down. School shut down. Government is about to shut down. It's a time where we got to understand shutdown need, because reboot need to happen. Because we don't entrust each other. And I like to say we are fighting each other daily for no damn good reason. We was fighting on the street for games before all this. We've been running them up for a long time, and then we wonder about the virus. The virus ain't the only thing that's been killing. And it ain't the only reason to die. But you don't have nothing to live for because you ain't doing nothing that was called for. He ain't asked us to do this. But we scared to do it. I'm not understanding what you scared for, and you gonna die for something less. Because man has made it where he has a plan to kill you in a different way. All I'm asking you is to stand up and be a man at this point and not kill another man for ignorance. We got morals. He gave this to us, and we're going to ignore him. He gave us writings.
He gave us history. But we want to believe in what somebody sitting on TV. All I can ask anybody, this is a great time to grab your kids and realize a lot of mistakes was made. We don't have to keep repeating.
There you go. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close out our show for tonight. This has been Bar Talk with Jay, and we really appreciate you folks for being here with us tonight. It means a lot that our ideas are meaningful enough for you to listen and participate in. And we're here every week, Thursday, Facebook Live, 7 to 9. We've got tons of shows online. You can go to any of our platforms.
The whole time you're on quarantine, you can listen to every one of them.
You can go to
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, iTunes,
Keep going.
Spotify,
Yep.
Google Podcasts.
Bless you.
Yep.
And of course, Jay has always got his few.
Man, I got things on everything. Everything. But that's right, coronavirus. I'm on every platform that you ever think of, from Let Go, Hangout, you name it, I'm there. It's not because it's the dating sites, but the bottom line is I want to be wherever you want to look.
There you go. And we thank you again. We love you. We'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Y'all take care.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.